Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining in for our first ever Decoding Your Superpowers live stream. I'm Teresa Lisum, and I am here with my partner, Linda Karchner, and we are EVCC certified coaches, and we've been trained in understanding, digging deep into the many levels and layers of the Gallup Strengths assessment. And we want to do that live here for you today so you could see the process and hopefully the power of understanding and knowing your strengths report. So welcome to those who are here, those who are jumping in, and those who are watching the recording. We're so glad you're here. So I am going to bring up a strengths report by sharing my screen, hopefully. So give me a moment. Linda, would you like to share anything while I'm doing that?
Yeah, I am a personal development coach, and sorry, the dogs are barking at each other. And I do specialize in CliftonStrengths, and I just love working with people and sharing with them the richness of this. I work specifically with not exclusively, but specifically with churches and with people in congregations and pastors, and helping them to see how these are really God-given strengths to help them in their spiritual journey.
Yes, thank you. And we all have these innate, organic, God-given gifts. Sometimes we don't realize they're gifts or superpowers, as I like to call them, because they come so naturally to us. They're so easy. We don't realize there's anything really special about them. But we're here to tell you otherwise. You are special, you are unique, and these lineup of your strengths will confirm and validate that. So hopefully you can see the report that I pulled up. Everybody can see that? Okay. So of course we took the name off so you can't see who we're talking about, but this is a typical Gallup Strengths report. You get a lineup of 34. We focus on the top 10. The top 10, I like to call your zone of genius. And the bottom 5 are your strengths. We don't refer to them as weaknesses, but they're the place you don't want to be. You want to spend all of your time as much as possible operating and applying those top 10 strengths. That's where you're going to feel the most energized, the most productive, the most creative, the most authentic. And then the middle strengths, they're referred to as the meh. They really are neutral. They have no energy for us whatsoever. Like, I don't even really know where things are in my middle section of strengths. I've never even really paid attention to them. So we use all of these strengths in some way, but those top 10 are really where we are at our best. Linda, you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, just what you said about energy is so good, because like for me, empathy is my number 30, and I'm seen as a very empathetic person, and I would view myself as that, but it really de-energizes me to put myself in other people's shoes. So, just to kind of reiterate your point that those bottom strengths are there, but they are where we get de-energized if we stay there too long.
Yes, I feel you there, man, even though I have empathy low as well. But for me, I can understand what people feel when they share with me, but I can't exactly feel and put myself in their shoes. So, but let's go ahead and dig in with the strengths. We only want to keep you about a half hour here. What we do, our process is to look at those top 10 and put them in the correct categories or domains. So we count them up. You see, they all have a little color attached to them, and each color represents a domain. And we count up each one of these top 10 strengths and put them in the correct domain. So Linda, I'm guessing you already counted up those
I did,
strengths.
yeah.
And what did you come up with?
Through there, I see 4 of the purple ones, which is the executing domain, and 4 of the green ones, which is strategic thinking, and then 1 of the gold, kind of orangey gold, and that's influencing, and then 1 of the blue, which is relationship building. So this person is very high, almost equally high in executing and strategic thinking.
Yeah. And whenever you have 3 or more strengths in a particular category or domain, that means it's very important to you. Those strengths, that category, are important to you. So 3 or more is what we consider a dominant domain. So 4, it's really important. 5, it's super duper important. 6, it's almost obsessively important. So this particular person has an equal split between executing and strategic thinking, which does happen. And if this person was in front of us, Linda, this is what I would do. I would ask this person which one of those two that slightly edges out the other one. Which one do they really feel is more energizing for them?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
How do you figure out the difference between
That would be
those
the
two?
same thing that I would do. CliftonStrengths told them, like, we don't see the full page there, but CliftonStrengths figured out what they would identify this person as leading with. They would have chosen one of those two. And so I would describe that. And then I would describe the other domain and see, where they're at with how they feel like it fits them the best.
Right. And every strengths, every domain shows up differently for each person. That's what makes us all unique. We all have these 34 strengths in some order, but they all play out differently for each person depending on the order. No person in the world has this lineup of strengths exactly as it is. It's just doesn't happen.
Right.
So this particular person, I'm sorry, go ahead.
1 in 8 billion people has your strengths report in exactly the same order as you.
Correct.
So that just reiterates that we are each unique.
Yes. And that's a really empowering bit of information to understand about ourselves, that we are ultimately the most unique person on the planet. And we can own that and really serve in that way. And that will really be helpful for any person to know that they're unique and it's okay to be unique. That's why we're here, to be our own person. Just based on the colors that I'm seeing here, Linda, and I'm looking at the top 5, I would say that this person probably leads with the executing domain because there's 1, 2, 3 purple and 2 of the strategic strengths. So I'm going to just assume or decide for myself at this moment in time that this person probably leads a little bit more with that executing domain.
Yeah, with that executing there at number 6 also. That's,
oh yeah, I didn't even notice.
You look at the top 6 and 4 out of the top 6 are executing. So that is definitely pretty strong.
Right. And we would confirm that with the person in front of us who owns these strengths.
Yeah.
So a person that is dominantly executing, that means that they do everything in a way that honors their desire to do the right thing.
Yeah.
And that is a statement that they can use.
Yeah.
Now, the strategic, that domain sounds like this. This person would love to do everything in a way that honors their desire to think, learn, and create. Now, not every person likes to create with this domain, but that person would have to decide, think, learn, and create, think, learn, that's it. Or they could even switch up the order of that, depending on how they process information. So this person has 2 dominant domains, executing, I'm going to say being a little bit more, and then strategic. Anything you want to add to that, Linda?
No, that's good.
So this person likes to get things done, likes to probably have list of things, likes to be productive, likes to take action, likes to be busy based on what we know, what I know about that particular domain. What else do you see that person as being as a high executor?
I would say that they have their game plan either be for the day, either before they go to bed at night or first thing in the morning. They've got their list, and it may be in their head or it may be written down or it may be on technology, but they want to check things off the list. And they really, really get that dopamine hit when they can check off things on their list and get things done.
And if this person doesn't do that, they might feel disjointed, out of sorts. And with this knowledge and this information, it may behoove them to go ahead and start with their plans the night before, first thing in the morning, or have their list or
my,
whatever.
My husband has 4 executing strengths in his top 10. And like, it just makes his day when he can say, I got a lot done today, honey. and I encourage him. Oh, honey, you got a lot done today. He loves that. That is his love language, man.
And we all want to feel good like that.
That's
So
right. Yeah.
if this helps them feel good, then
Absolutely.
that's our goal in life. So as a secondary domain, dominant domain is, we're going to say strategic thinking.
Right.
And a person who is a high strategic thinker loves to spend a lot of time up here in their head.
Right.
They do a lot of thinking, a lot of time up there. So their productivity comes from inside themselves, in their head. And like us on the outside might not see anything taking place. We think they're really not, being productive if they're sitting there reading or whatever. But in that person's head, they are really, really productive and things are getting done. They're making their plans. They're learning things. They're figuring things out, researching, but it's all taking place in their mental sphere, their mental realm. And then when they're ready, then it will come forward into manifestation in real life.
Yes. So I just told you about my husband, who's a high executor. Our oldest son has 7 strategic thinking in his top 10. So you can imagine a doer raising a thinker. That was a real struggle for my husband. And even though our son is 26, like, sometimes we just are like, okay, so much thinking, too much thinking.
Yeah. And
definitely obsessively.
I was just going to say, and 7 is really, really obsessive, really important to him to have that thinking time. Does he spend a lot of time by himself within his own thoughts?
He does. Yes. Yes. And he reads books and watches, I don't know, weird physics videos just for fun.
It's fun for him.
It is fun for him.
Whereas your husband might not think it's so fun.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah. But that's another power of knowing your strengths and knowing somebody else's strength is you have the ability to understand them at a level you might not have understood them before.
It is excellent for parenting.
Yeah. And just imagine the frustration that saves knowing that your child, whether it's a small child or an adult child, is a high strategic thinker. And that's their thing. That's what they're here to do. Right. And we may not think like that, but we need to honor and respect the fact that that's how they think and, give them that space.
Right.
So yeah, it's an awesome way of understanding other people and, communicating as well.
Right.
To that other person. Oh, I just lost my strength report. There it is. You guys can still see it, but I lost it. So just knowing and understanding the domains is huge. And if you don't go into each individual strength, just understanding the domains can really change relationships, I think.
Right.
And knowing that about themselves. I know when I realized and understood through my strengths report that I was high relationship builder is my dominant domain, but my secondary domain is strategic thinking. And I have to balance my time between the two. If I get too much people time, then I'm out of whack. If I get too much alone time, we'll say I'm out of whack and I can feel my energy decrease. So I need to honor both of those and make sure both of those are balanced for me in a day, in a week, just as a regular practice. And if you don't understand that, you might wonder why you're so stressed.
Yeah.
A person's like, I'm so stressed, but I don't know why. Well, maybe because you're out of balance like that. Maybe you're a high strategic person and you need more thinking time and you're not getting it. And that's stressing you out. I have a daughter like that. She's high strategic thinker. She has 2 little kids and she does not get enough alone time. And I know that's part of her stress.
Yeah.
So just knowing this is really empowering. Are there any of those strengths you want to dig into? Should we talk about number 1 and number 5?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. So let's start with number 1. I'm going to let you talk about that because I know that's one of your top strengths.
That actually is my number 1 strength also. So when you have learner high in your top 10, it means that you just love the process of gaining knowledge, absorbing information. You don't even have to have like a degree or a certificate to show for it. You just enjoy the process of learning new things, and you utilize that to improve yourself as well. So it's not just that you're just learning for the sake of learning, but learning to grow as a person, like being able to go down that rabbit hole on Google or wherever, finding information about this, that, and the other. You feel like it is something that improves you because you're improving your mind and the amount of knowledge that you have.
Love that. And a learner being at number 1 strength is going to be your highest energy. That's going to be the one that excites you the most.
Yes.
Is that true for you? Yes, learning and going down the rabbit hole?
Yes, I love to learn and about topics I'm interested in, like physics for me, like my son. But I know a little bit about a lot of things. And my 2 youngest sons, they both worked on a farm. When they would come home and talk about tractors, and I would ask questions, they'd be like, you don't really care about that. That's not your thing. I'm like, I know, but I like learning. I don't really care about tractors,
Yeah, but you just want to know a little bit. You don't want to know a ton.
Right. I don't want to have to go fix one or drive one.
I totally get it. But when you do find something that you're passionate about, that's when you go deep, I'm guessing.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So you honor that learner strength.
Yes.
And if I was a person that did not have learner high and I needed some learning about something, if I wanted to learn something, but I didn't want to do it myself, I could come to you, my learner friend, and say, hey, could you read this book and then sum it up for me? Yeah. Give me the Reader's Digest version.
Yeah, definitely. Learners like to teach. So, they do like to share the knowledge that they have. Because sometimes it's kind of like the Dead Sea, all that stuff going in and no outlet.
So it's good to let it out and share your information, but only if the other person wants to hear your information.
Exactly.
I know as a high learner myself, like if I'm excited about something, I will just spew it all over a person who really doesn't want to know. So as a learner, you have to learn to only give it out when it's wanted and well received at the other end.
Yeah.
Thank you. And then let's look at number 5. So number 1 and number 5 strengths are pretty important. So belief sitting at number 5 is telling me a few things, but tell me what you think about belief at number 5.
Well, belief, no matter where you have it, is a very strong strength because it is someone who has a core set of values and they live and die by that core set of values. And one person's core set of values may be different than another person's. But when belief is strong, I mean, when belief is anywhere in your top 10 and sometimes even down 11, 12, 13, it has a very powerful influence, those core values, on all your other strengths and how you do things. But one of the really neat things about the number 5 strength is we call it our anchor strength. And I kind of refer to it, I use the analogy that it's like the fulcrum on a teeter-totter. And if you have to balance a teeter-totter by yourself, where do you go? And if you have your top 10 strengths lined up on that teeter-totter, 1 through 10, where would you go? You would go to the middle if you were balancing that teeter-totter. That's where the fulcrum is. That's where kind of the balancing act happens. So if you find that you're dipping down into your bottom strengths or any other strength that's kind of low down there, or just hesitating or feeling frustrated or unsure, going back to that number 5, that anchor, that fulcrum is, and anyone's number 5 is their anchor strength, whatever it is. Focusing on that, learning more about that number 5 strength and acting on it can kind of pull you back into balance.
I love that. And I kind of refer to that anchor strength, number 5, as the default. I know that I kind of default to that when I don't really know what other strengths that I pull out, or maybe in times of stress, like that's the one that I just go to really naturally. So you can think of it as all of those things, but I love that fulcrum analogy. If people can remember what a teeter-totter is.
Right.
Like that was back in the day, those are pretty common. I don't know if they're around too much anymore.
Well, we used to have one at our community playground and it got broken, so we had to take it out. So,
yeah. I know they're considered dangerous now. So
right, I know.
But we survived just fine with those things. Those were fun. But let's just kind of, I do want to mention Gallup. There's an option to purchase 5. You do have to purchase the assessment, give, Gallup some money to give you this report. So we're depending on them with all of their resources and their analysis capabilities to, give us this result. But they do offer a 5 option, like you just get your top 5, or they open up your all 34 strengths. We highly, highly recommend going for the 34. It's a little bit more money, but that gives us the ability to see many, many patterns.
Right.
And to really look at those bottom 5, which we're not going to get into today because we're running out of time. But it's really so much more helpful to go for all 34. Okay.
Get you the big picture.
Yes, the big picture. And again, seeing those patterns. When you're only limited to the 5, you can't really figure out those domains. And at the beginning, hopefully you saw the power of just understanding and knowing those dominant domains of a person.
This person might not, if they only had their top 5, would probably not realize how strong their strategic
right
influences are.
Right.
And needing that thinking time.
Exactly.
So kind of blending their two domains, I would see them as a person who really thinks through that to-do list. Like they spend some time thinking through it before they decide that they are going to put it on the list.
Correct. That's what I was going to invite us to do. Let's look at all of the strengths and just come up with an overall picture of this person based on their strengths. I see that they have relator at number 8. This person probably is very, very comfortable and prefers a small grouping of people around them. They have some very close, trustworthy friends or family members that they feel really, really comfortable with. Belief, we already talked about. They're also a person who looks to the future and probably plans for the future and spends time thinking about the future, with futuristic there at number 3. This person with responsibility really high, they're very dependable, very trustworthy. If they say they're going to show up at your house at 9:00, they're going to be there. You can plan on it. There will be no doubt in your mind that they're going to show up when they say. They're very responsible and will follow up with whatever they say they're going to do. What are you seeing in here?
I think, just kind of, we haven't really talked specifically about achiever, but that's just kind of the executing strengths in a nutshell. An achiever is someone who knows what they want to do and they get it done. It's the get her done.
Get her done.
Yeah.
Get her done.
That I think that's one that I have a little strength envy about.
Yeah, me too. Me too. But it almost seems like this person's going to do their plans, get their checklist, get everything in order. And then when they take action, boom, they're going to go.
Right.
And that action is they're just going to go and finish it. And the project will be complete. And yeah, this would be a great person to partner with.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
For sure. Analytical, they love data, they love that information, they love research. So yeah, this person as that executor, strategic person, yeah, they've got a great combination. And they're all very good, but a really powerful combination of strengths to really get things done.
With activator at 7 and achiever at 4, oh my goodness.
Yep.
That is a go-getter.
Yeah, for sure. As I said, once they go, they are going to go. And yeah, and they have to have the belief that they're going to be able to get a particular thing done, or that they can do it, right? That belief is going to be driving their actions.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, this is to me, this is a really powerful lineup of strengths. And the person who owns these, if they really took ownership and understood them more, it might change some things for them in their lives, But any final thoughts about this particular person before we wrap it up?
Just kind of piggybacking on what you said, sometimes we have to sort of grow into our strengths and kind of mature into them. Sometimes they're kind of raw, and like you said earlier, we either take them for granted because they come so naturally to us, or we don't really realize that is a part of who we are. And so we need to do a little bit more exploration and understanding of ourselves in light of the strengths.
Right. That they're very, very powerful. I know they've impacted and transformed a lot of people's lives that we know personally. And that's why we advocate to really know and understand your strengths. It's a great awareness for so many reasons on so many levels. And we just touched the surface here. So we're going to do this every week, same time, same place, picking a different report and just going into it and seeing what we can glean from that particular report. So if you have a report that you'd like us to use and dig into, you're welcome to get it to me or to Linda, and we will make sure your name is not visible, but we would gladly use yours as an example.
Yeah.
And if you have any questions, any comments, we certainly would love to hear those as well. So
Yep.
thank you so much, Linda. So appreciate you helping
Thanks for
out here.
our guest today, Jane, for joining.
Yes, thank you, Jane, for being here live. We appreciate it. Do you have any questions? I probably need to ask that.
No questions. I thought it was really good. I just had one thing. I noticed that that person both had analytical and arranger.
Yeah.
And those two together, full, yeah, are really good at
Yeah.
arranging how they're going to do things.
They
Love that.
how things happened and arrange everything to make it all productive.
Yeah, this person definitely would. I would love to have this person as a friend or a work partner, co-worker, because this person is really going to take things far with whoever they're working with. So, thank you so much. We so appreciate you, all of you being here. Thank you, Linda, for being my partner today to really dig into this. Jane, I think you're going to join us in the future to be able to dig into some of these strengths. So thank you, everybody. And we look forward to the next time we're all together. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.